fun fact about myself. Well, I don't know if it's really a fun fact. Do you guys know I'm starting like a whole division of my company called QC Passport?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
do know about
So I'm
Passport.
kind of like into history, but that would go with. It's not really a fun fact because.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
I am Natalie Linville-Mass. I have a company called Media Link. I started this 20 years ago. Um, Feels like yesterday. The reason I started the company was out of a need to help other people that I knew in the community, to be able to help them with their marketing. When I started the agency 20 years ago, there were a couple of things I really wanted to make sure that I did for my agency. I wanted to make sure that everything was transparent, that there were no surprises when our clients received their bills. I wanted to be more of somebody who could help educate them on what their options were and what was out there in the market, and to be able to help them cross compare the different proposals that they had in front of them, because people get a lot of visits from a lot of different vendors, and to really be able to vet and know what you have in front of you is tough. So that's really what I wanted to be able to help them through, was to be able to help them understand what they have and how to form that path, and how to help them grow their business. And it's been fun. I've gotten to work in several different industries. When you're working in an ad agency, you get to go into the HVAC field. One day you get to go into foot podiatry, the next day then you get to go into a college setting, and then you get to find out more about stomachs and with gastroenterology, and you go from one field to the next, and it's really exciting to be able to put yourself in their shoes and to help them be able to grow their businesses. It's exciting and it's different, and there's different pieces of it that go with it every day. I've had Media Link for 20 years, and then I also felt the need to develop my own software company to help other advertising agencies throughout the country. That was done in 2010. I did that because at the time the software providers that were out there only focused on broadcast, which is radio, television, and cable, but they really didn't do anything with the emerging field of digital media, as well as with outdoor and publications. So that was something that I was able to do, was to be able to bring all of those platforms up there, because as an agency, we look at all forms of media, we don't look at one. And so it was important to be able to represent all of them, and to be able to cross compare again what those different medias do and those different proposals, and see how they can perform. And so as a result of that, this wasn't something we expected. We kind of became a consultant for other advertising agencies, because everybody buys differently. Everybody plans their media differently, and that was not something we expected. We thought everybody does things the same. Nope. Everybody has their own way and their own quirks. And so this has really helped us understand all of those different ways that you can buy media planning, and put that together, and what works effectively and what doesn't work as effectively. And then this year we are starting the third leg of our company called QC Passport. And we did this because the Quad Cities is incredible. I keep saying this over and over again, but the American experience is the Quad Cities experience. We have so many entrepreneurs here. We have so many we have been a part of everything from the War of 1812 to present day. There are thousands and thousands of immigrants that came here first. This is their first step across the Mississippi River. We have an incredible history to share, and we need to do a better job of it. So many tourists, when they come here, they do not understand the history, and quite frankly, our own community doesn't understand how cool we really are. And so I really wanted to make sure that we had signage up to be able to talk about this. And then with that signage, I'd like to be able to give people more history, so we tied in a text piece with it. But, that's not enough too. It's important to be in the place where it happened. So let's also give you kind of a feel of what it was like in that particular day and time. So we also do an audio narration with these, so you can hear the sounds of the people that would have been from that area, what they would have dealt with on a daily basis, and what they had to do with that particular piece. And And then, yeah, and so we're pulling all of that together and we're launching it right now. So you can see it on Channel Cat, and you will soon start seeing other signs pop up throughout the Quad Cities. So we're really excited. I love history so much that I wrote my own family tree. So I wrote my own family tree as a Girl Scout project, and it actually helped me get the Gold Award. It was a 500-page book, and out of that I was able to pull together a reunion of, ironically, around 500 people from around the country who had never met each other but were all related. And yeah, so that was in 9th grade. Yeah, no, it was really cool, and the stories that they had, it just made everything so much more human, whether it was about somebody from 50 years ago or somebody from 200 years ago. It's fascinating. So anyway, that's something. I just love hearing about other people's lives and what they do with this small space of time that they have on this earth. When I graduated from college, I went to work where there was a job, right? I mean, you're putting applications out anywhere. I don't care. Anywhere in the country, I'll come work for you. As long as it's in my field, make sure that I get the experience that I can get, and it really doesn't matter about the location. That grew old after about 5 or 6 years, and finally, I had gotten married, but my husband and I had said, no, where do we want to be? Not, where's the next job? And we chose the Quad Cities, and we chose the Quad Cities because of the opportunity here. Where we came from, there was one TV station and a couple of radio stations. Here, it's a bi-state region, so we've got our choice of 4 different TV stations and well over a dozen different radio stations. And because it's bi-state, you've got both Illinois and Iowa politics, but that also works to its advantage. We also chose this area because of the topography. We have the Mississippi running right through the center, of our region. It's beautiful, and there's nothing else like it anywhere else in the world. And we just don't realize it. We take it for granted. But I mean, that river and how it flows, I never get tired of seeing the lights on the water in the evening. I never get tired of walking along one of the trails at night and seeing those old houses, that are up on the hills on the Iowa side, as well as all of the stuff on the Broadway district and Rock Island, as well as all the mansions that we have over, in Moline. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful sights here and a lot of places to explore, and it's a cool place to live. It really is. The more innovative we can be about this area, the more, anything's possible, you guys. Anything's possible. If you have an idea on how to get there, and you see a path on how to make it happen, go for it. Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it shouldn't be done or couldn't be done. If you see a path and you see a way to make something happen, you have to go for it. And that's why I started the businesses that I did. With the software, I saw that there was a real problem in our industry. And I did see a way to be able to solve it. And once I figured out that there was a way to solve a problem within our industry, I felt a responsibility to take care of it. If I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? And then what does that mean if nobody takes care of it? Right?
Yeah.
So same thing with this. I mean, as far as the Bison Bridge goes, I take my hat off to Chad. I mean, that was huge. For him to have that vision, see how he could connect the dots and make this happen, he's got a responsibility to go for it and make it happen. So I'm proud of him, and it would be a wonderful addition to this area. And it will be something that will really lift up the buffalo in this area. Literally, it'll be something to really lift up the culture of the Native Americans, of the bison who have roamed, this countryside for thousands of years. We need that. We need to be able to bring some of this back. We need to be able to cherish what was here prior to us. Well, we have expanded outside of the Quad Cities. So we do have a colleague who works with us out of Madison, Wisconsin. Originally, when he was talking about leaving, the Quad Cities and working someplace else, I mean, the first thought was, okay, we're going to lose him. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So much of what we do now is done by computer. I was using WebEx at the time. I was using We have our phone, we've got our computers, there's so many things that we could do, and we had Dropbox, we can make this work. And so once I really started to think about it and put the pieces together, I was like, no, don't go work for another company, keep working for us and just work with us, wherever you need to be located. And that was phenomenal, and that was 5 years ago, and he's still with us today. And that was long before COVID and the pandemic and people realizing that you can work from another space. But it's worked out beautifully. So yes, I do see us expanding and continuing to expand and look for other people who can be a part of this company in other parts of the country, where the need rises. But at the same time, no, we're good here too. I really like this area. Like I said, I've been able to travel to other locations, and they're fantastic for a particular time of year, but throughout the year, not necessarily. I'm not a big fan of January and February around here, but at the same time, it's short. It's not like where I came from in Minnesota, so it's bearable. I can always travel someplace else. I've got an airport right in my backyard that I can travel to anywhere in the United States and make a fast getaway, and then come back and realize why I live here. So it's great. I love the Channel Cat, and that's not because they're my partner. But I was thrilled that that the Channel Cat was going to be our first partner. But I mean, anybody who comes and visits me, the Channel Cat is our number one place to go. I mean, because you are so close to the water, you are in the Mississippi, you're a part of it, and it's affordable for everybody, and you can get on and get off and experience the bike trails. I love that. So Channel Cat's my favorite. Wildcat Den, that's another must be. You have to check that out. And it is where this old grist mill is, but you walk in there and the cave dwellings, I don't know how you call them, they're so they've got like the Devil's Punch Bowl, and it's all of these different colors of rocks, and how they're all formed in there, and it is one of the most beautiful locations that I've ever been to. It's just absolutely, but nobody knows about it. So no, Wildcat Den, you have to go to Wildcat Den. That's another one. Black Hawk State Park is another one of my favorites. That is just phenomenal too. And to know that that's where the Saukanack tribe was, 200, 300 years ago, and to be able to be in that space is just, it's a big deal. And it's really important, and it's picturesque. It's really cool to travel through that area. So yeah, I'm much more about the outdoors, but we have got some really cool outdoors. Sylvan Slough, that's another fantastic place to go. As far as my favorite local spots, I mean, Igor's is fantastic. To have a restaurant that's got a Halloween theme is just amazing. Miss Mamie's is a favorite of mine too. I mean, they've been in this area, and the dishes that they come up with are completely different from what you would find anywhere else. They've got a really good chef there. And yeah, I mean, there's lots of different places to eat. I love the different hiking places. Circa 21 is fantastic. I know that it's usually old people that go there, but it shouldn't be, because it's phenomenal. Those are real Broadway performances that they're able to put on, and it's incredible being able to be that close and then have dinner with it too. And it's awesome. So I really felt like this community embraced me. I did feel like in the other locations that I've lived in, I was simply one of their staff. But I do feel like when I came here, I was really looked at for my talent and for what I could achieve. And people were a lot more open. This area is open to meeting new people. They are very welcoming. I was blown away by how eager people were to meet me and to embrace what I was doing, and vice versa. It grows. When I started MediaLink, I was the first woman in several years to open up my own ad agency. I was 32 when I started, which was unheard of. Most people who started their own ad agency were at least a decade, if not older than I was. And so that was a lot of audacity for me to do that. And I certainly got some naysayers, but I also got an awful lot of people who were very open to what my perspective was and to what I was trying to do. And there were a lot of people who would reach out and who would be there for you. And it's a very warm and welcoming community. I've been very impressed. You would not get that from Chicago. You would not get that from another large city. I know that. And it's not going to be so small that everybody knows everybody, and if you are not second or third generation in that community, then you don't belong. That's not what this community is about. This community is very welcoming and is just excited to have you here. When I joined the chamber, so the Illinois Chamber, I was, again, I'm in my early 30s. That's pretty young, you guys, and I'm there with other business owners and other CEOs, and they were very excited to see me and to get to know what was going on and to include me in conversations and to help me get into different arenas where they knew I would have interest. I really actually I have a minor in international relations, and I really have an understanding in politics, and I kind of like that area. And so they gave me an opportunity to be a part of that, where I don't think every community would have gotten that. I don't think every community would have really looked and said, hey, this person seems to be interested in this area. Let's make sure that they're involved and let's help them grow in this area. That's not something that I would see happening in other communities. And it wasn't just the chamber. I mean, I got that from the PTAC office. I got that from the SBDC. I got that from the SBA. You show initiative. There are people here that are going to support you and help it come to fruition. So we're an ad agency, and like a tax accountant or an attorney, usually when you find somebody that you like working with, you stick with them, right? And from the other side, when I was working in sales, I thought, with ad agencies, they probably work with those people forever, for years and years and years. That's not necessarily the case. I realized I lost customers, and I'm like, oh my God, now what am I going to do? You're going to get another customer. And it does. So I think the other part of that, as far as patience goes, is that when you're hit with a roadblock, it's good to get more peripheral vision as to what your other options are so you can maneuver around it versus, stop trying to hit that block. Stop trying to hit what's right in front of you. But that's, as far as my business goes, that's what it's been. It's just maneuvering through and, okay, now there's this new opportunity, so let's see what this takes us. My first 3 clients were Doug's Heating and Air Conditioning, Country Style, and then it was Quad City Arts. And Doug's Heating and Air Conditioning and Country Style are still with me today. And Quad City Arts was more about the person I was working with. So when she left as the marketing director, then she wanted me to work with her at the Midwest Writing Center. And then when she decided to become a novelist, she wanted me to help her get her marketing off the ground. So with all 3 of them, I'm very close to them, and I'm a very big part of their lives, and they're a very big part of my life. And yeah, I appreciate all 3 of them very much. So it helps me know I did the right thing. If I'm doing something I don't want to do, but I have to do it, get it done right away so that it's out of the way, so that you can work on something you really like to work on. That I am not a procrastinator. Do the ugly stuff first, get it over with so you can work on the stuff that you like to do. But if you're getting more and more projects that you don't want to do this and you don't want to do this, you should probably look at a different path. So, it's all in how you look at it. I've had people come through here and they've been like, oh my God, invoicing. But for other people, they're like, invoicing is like a puzzle because you get to put all these pieces together and see if they all connect. That's cool. So it just depends upon where you're at and where your talent is and where you feel your strength is at. Okay, so the book that I'm reading right now is a dialogue with the Archbishop Desmond Tutu and with the Dalai Lama. And the whole book is focused on joy and how you can find happiness. And it is an incredible book to read through and really does help you really put things in perspective. So that has been a huge book for me. Another book I love is The Tao of Pooh and The Tie of Piglet. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But both of those books are incredible too. So my favorite books by far are nonfiction books. Like I told you earlier, I am really impressed with how people choose to spend the short amount of time that they have on this planet. It's incredible. And everybody's life is important. Everybody has a story to tell, and it's incredible to see what we can do with it. The books that I told you about, the Tie of Piglet, the Tao of Pooh, I usually give those as graduation presents. But what they do is they help you understand the people around you and understand that everybody has their own personality, their own experience, their own life journey, and accept that, embrace it, and understand it so you can help them on their journey and they're going to help you on your journey. So much of the Native American culture, all of the Native American culture is gone. But those people were still here. So, I mean, I know like the longitude and latitude of where Black Hawk's hut was and where his family lived. How phenomenal would it be to be able to be at those exact coordinates and know that that's where this man lived 200 years ago, 300 years ago. You know, the island had some incredible symbolism for them. So to be able to see those parts of the island and the drawings that they made, to be able to understand that island better, and you're in the place where it happened, that's incredible. So that's where QC Passport is more like, it's also more about culture too, and understanding and becoming proud of who we are. So for me, it is the buildings, but it's also really celebrating the Native Americans who came through here, the Black Americans who came through here, the Hispanics who immigrated here, the Irish, the Belgian, the Swedish, the Germans, all of them. And making sure that we really pay tribute to who they are, what they went through, and if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here. So the Civil War was started over Dred Scott. Well, he lived here. So his slave owner was from this area, and they brought Dred Scott here. And when Dred Scott was freed, he lived here in a cabin that was by where the I-74 bridge is. So that happened here. You know, there's a lot of crazy things here. Louis Armstrong played here. You know, this is one of the areas where he got his start because steamboats were huge around this area. And so a lot of the big jazz players of the day, Al Jolson was a regular around here too. So there's a lot of crazy stuff. You know, the War of 1812 actually had a really big fight here on Credit Island, and yeah, there's a lot of just cool stuff. The field of marketing and advertising has evolved over the lifetime of my career. When I was starting my career, I was splicing tape together by hand. So I think to be successful in this field, you have to be open to change. That's the biggest thing. You have to be open to what is possible and not concentrate on what you know, concentrate on what you can know, concentrate on what else is out there. Because the more you learn, the more vital you're going to become to any industry that you're a part of. But that's especially true with advertising and marketing. And it's not just digital. I mean, there are the other traditional forms of media work as well. They work differently. But it depends upon that particular business that you're focused on and what they're trying to do and who their audience is. So you have to be open to what would work out best for them, and it's not the same for everybody. We have gotten to a point where it really does need to be individualized for every business, because every business is going to have a different audience, a different geography, a different set of customers, and how those customers are going to react is going to be very individualized and very different. So yeah, be open to change. That's going to help you be more successful than anything else. Also, don't lie to anybody, okay? Always, tell the truth, be transparent, show people how you got to where you are. Don't hide anything. People can see right through that right away. Be true to who you are. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you've accomplished.